today is June 7th, 2024, and today we're having a hearing based on an appeal of a tow that occurred in accordance with Chapter 23, Section 23-277. And so I'm going to, and we're going to go around and introduce ourselves. Well, actually, it's easier because everybody doesn't have a mic in front of them. I'll introduce everybody. My name is Carol Mitten. I'm the city administrator. This is Dave Westner, our city attorney. This is Officer Nathan Miller, who issued the citation. This is Lieutenant Corey Coker from the police department. If you would like to introduce yourself, you could lean in and turn it on and speak into the microphone.
Skya Davis.
Thank you. And then if you wouldn't mind doing the same. Thank you. And then we have Kate Levy here as our scribe, I guess. So this is relatively informal, but I'm going to ask you a few questions just to put some things on the record. So the first thing is I just want to say you're here pursuant to a notice that you were given that we were going to have this hearing today at this date and hour and place. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, and that we worked with you actually to make sure that that was a convenient time for you to come back because we didn't get it scheduled in the proper window. Is that right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, that's great. So as I said, this is sort of informal. So and when we were off the record, you said you might have some things you wanted to introduce into evidence. There's nothing formal about yet. That you can share what you want to share.
All right.
And then if it's relevant for the record, I might ask to have a copy made if you don't have a copy to offer and so forth. But other than that, we're just going to be sort of informal. And if there are questions to be asked of other parties, I'll ask them. If you have something that you would like me to ask them, then ask me and I'll ask them. Okay? So as we also discussed, this is being recorded. It's not being broadcast. It's being recorded, and that video will become the record of the public hearing. Okay. I think I'll move on from there. So I want to just go to the ordinance and say that we have the police or the city, more broadly, is authorized to tow vehicles under certain circumstances. That's according to the section that I cited, Section 23-277, vehicles used in the commission of certain offenses. And so you were given 2 citations, as I understand it. One was for operating a vehicle without insurance, and then the other one was operating a vehicle with either, I guess it was suspended or revoked registration. And it's that citation, which is 23-277D, operation of a vehicle when registration is canceled, suspended, or revoked, that led to the your car, or I guess maybe your dad's car, being impounded. So would you like to just maybe say what happened on the day that you were pulled over by Officer Miller and why you believe that the impoundment was improper? Because I do want to say, because we talked about, I want to be sure that you understand what the threshold is. It doesn't really have anything to do with anything that happened in court. This is whether the impoundment was proper or improper. So we just want to stay focused on that. Okay?
It was convoluted on that because there was a female officer there that arrived, and she was conversating with me and her for about, 10 minutes or so?
Okay.
And we were trying to get a copy of my insurance. At one point, we called my dad and said, "Do you have the insurance card?" He's like, "Your mom has it on the computer." Meanwhile, the officer was writing the citation already. And so the female officer was like, "Well, if you can try to get me a copy, we could try to stop this tow." And so she attempted to use her SR22 coverage, but she couldn't find it.
Could you tell me what SR22 coverage, what does that mean?
It's
a non-owner's liability policy. So any vehicle that I get into and I drive, I have liability coverage insurance on myself in that vehicle.
Okay.
So even if my name's not on the title of the car, I'm still covered if anything is to happen in that vehicle.
Okay. I never heard of that before, but okay. Thank you.
And so at one point, the officer, I don't know her name, she took either your phone or something and went and asked the other officers, hey, can she use this or whatever? And I think it felt like one officer was kind of more like, yes, and one was like, no, it can't. But the female officer was more asserting to us that if I could get a copy of my insurance in that moment, I could stop the tow.
Okay.
And so there was a point where, I don't know if you have the audio, but I had called my dad on speaker, and you can hear him say, your mother has on her computer. And so I was like, is there a way I can let my mom bring it? And the female officer was like, if she can get it here, yes.
Okay, so this is your father's or your mother's insurance. This is not your
Well, no,
insurance.
it's the insurance,
For the car.
yes,
Okay.
in my name.
It's in your name. Okay,
Yes.
I couldn't tell because your dad's name
Yeah,
is
we have the
as-
same name.
I see, okay.
Yeah, and so the female officer was more so like, felt like she was trying to help me stop the tow.
Okay.
She was like, you know,
Let's
if you,
stay focused. Let's go back. Let's just
Okay.
stay focused on whether the impoundment was proper.
Well,
So I
okay.
just want to steer you back.
okay,
So this is your insurance or this is your parents'?
my insurance.
This is your insurance. So why would your parents be the ones with the information about the insurance as opposed to you having it as you are required to in your possession when you're driving the car?
Oh, because I had just got the car, possession of it, and the night before, my dad was like, I'm going to get insurance for you. And I said, okay. He's like, your mother's going to type it up for you. And so she got the insurance, but I hadn't got the physical card by the time I got pulled over. Because where they live at, 914 North Linview, and where I got pulled over, it was like, you know, probably a mile or two. And so I know you said stay focused, but the female officer that I was talking to identified herself as an employee of Urbana as a police officer. So what she was telling me, I don't know if it's credited or not because she didn't make the stop, but she did convey to me that because she did not make the stop, it was at the officer's discretion how he wanted to handle it.
Okay. So who bought the insurance? You bought the insurance?
Yes.
Okay. And when did you get the insurance?
I'm not sure what day it was, but I have a copy of it.
Yeah, let's look on that.
It would have been that night. Because remember,
What night?
the night of the 7th, because I just told you my dad was like, I'm going to get your insurance.
Okay. So I actually have it because I think you submitted it. So
Yeah?
there's the insurance card, and there's the date it was
Yeah.
issued.
When did I submit it?
I don't know, but I have a copy of it in the
Okay,
record
yeah.
of the case.
So what date is that? The 7th? Yeah, that
It's
night.
the 7th.
Yeah,
Okay, so you got the insurance that night.
yes.
And what time did you get the citation?
I don't know.
It's on it. It's on it. Do you have a copy of that? I also have that. You want to, this is maybe a better copy.
Way better.
It's up. It's right here.
11:56 a.m. on May 7th.
Okay, so you just said that you got the insurance that night, and you got
Well, the
this-
night before, you know, like the card says the 7th, so that night prior.
Well, then why does it say the 7th?
Because it's the same day. Like when it turns midnight, okay, midnight on May 6th would have turned to May 7th.
I'm aware of that.
Okay, so that morning at 11:56, I was stopped. 11:56 a.m. And it was effective, but I didn't have the card.
Okay, I'm going to ask Lieutenant Coker
You
to
with me?
weigh in here because he has a little bit of additional information on
Okay.
this. And so I'm just going to ask you a specific
Okay.
question, which is, did you call the insurance company and find out when the insurance was issued?
I did. I spoke with customer service representative Emily, who is located in Florida. She indicated to me that on May 7th, the policy was enacted at 2:38 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which brings it 1:38 p.m. Central Standard Time in Illinois.
So that suggests that it wasn't in effect at the time that you received the citation.
Well, where's it at? When I got to my mother's house, this is what she gave me.
Okay.
And oh, I know. It says effective May 7th.
Right.
I don't have any other evidence that what he said. I mean, I don't know if that's hearsay or I don't specifically know. Do you have a recorded call?
Go ahead.
I physically don't have a recorded call, but Progressive did record the call and said that we would just need to send a request to obtain said recording.
So the fact of the matter is that you're required to have the insurance card on your person. You didn't have it on your person.
Can you read that? I didn't. That's one question.
That's in the law, right?
Can you read it?
Well, it's also it's not in this part of the law about impoundments. It's in the.
Well, I
part
mean,
of the
can
law.
we read that where you just said you're required to have the card
Oh well,
by law?
that's part I do not have in front of me. Can either of you address what the I don't know if it's the Illinois state law
So
on that topic?
I wasn't sure of the traffic stop. Obviously, I was not there. My understanding is your vehicle got towed pursuant to a city ordinance violation for having a canceled, revoked, or suspended registration. Is that correct?
That's what they told me.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Most likely, that is recorded in the Secretary of State database of the DMV. And then when we run a license plate, it pops up saying that it is canceled, revoked, or suspended based on whatever parameters it is. Typically, in my experience, shows it was the most likely lack of either payments to another conviction of traffic or lack of insurance is the only two reasons that they would actually suspend, cancel, or revoke your registration.
Which
So the fact that you did or didn't have insurance at the time is more for the court system across the street, while this is more for the city ordinance of a canceled, revoked, and suspended license plate.
So here's what I'm going to do. The other thing that I think adds some cloudiness to this whole thing is that in filling out the impoundment report, you showed on there that the driver was Carlos N. Williams Jr., that's you, and the owner of the vehicle, and you have your address in Tennessee. The owner of the vehicle was shown as Carlos N. Williams on Lincoln Avenue, which I assume is your dad. So if he had just sold the car to you, why was he listed as the owner?
that's my dad.
I know, but I
You
thought
say-
you said that there was a transfer of title.
No, I never said that.
Oh, okay, I misunderstood you.
No, it was like, hey, Dad, I need the car. And he's like, okay. And he's like, your mom's going to get insurance tonight for you. And I woke up in the morning. I said, are the plates good? He said, yes. I woke up in the morning. I said, on my way to my parents' house to get the insurance. I get pulled over. Mom, can you bring the insurance? Or I'm trying to make the call. Before I can make the call, he's like, nope, I already wrote the ticket.
Okay, so with everything that we have, and there was as Lieutenant Coker described, there was a registration that was revoked or suspended due to lack of insurance in the record. Is that correct, Officer Miller?
Yes, it was suspended for mandatory insurance.
Okay.
Now, from what I was told by my parents, when insurance is active, they have to contact the state and let them know, like, the vehicle's insured. And I don't know if there was a delay on the DMV to the insurance company communicating, but this is what I received.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a week from today to produce anything from your mother that will establish that the insurance was purchased prior to the citation being issued. Okay? And then
Okay.
I will wait to make my decision
Okay.
until you provide that. Because
Okay.
based on what is in the record right now, it was purchased after the citation.
Can
So
I
if you-
get that call?
I think he can give you the contact information and you can
Okay.
ask for it.
Okay.
You could also ask, you know, you could call and ask yourself, what do you have in your records for this? But then anything that you can produce that your mother has on her computer or whatever that's relevant to the timing of the insurance, then we can, then I'll make my decision based on whatever else you put in the record.
Okay.
That, okay?
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out, I don't know how, because heck, I have to actually pay this month. And so I don't know how, because I try to contact them. How did you get through to an agent? And is that public knowledge to discuss a person's policy?
You called this number,
And are you,
the 800 number?
I called the 1-800 number that's located on your card and identified myself as a police officer, and then they transferred me to their law enforcement records division who spoke with me.
you didn't have to have a warrant for that? Isn't that like personal?
They didn't have to give the information out either. I just simply asked.
Okay, I'm gonna find out, because this is new to me.
Okay, so,
Okay.
a week from today is June 14th, and so I'll give you till 5 o'clock on June 14th. You can just email it to Kate, and she'll make sure I get it.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay. Whatever you might have that would show when the insurance was purchased.
I don't know. See, that kind of feels like, wouldn't you rather hear the recorded call? Because I don't necessarily know if I want to divulge my personal records and stuff like that without a warrant. If he said, that's what he's talked to the agent, said something like hearsay, unless there's any proof of that.
Okay,
So
so
I
we
would-
have informal rules of evidence, so.
Okay, so-
So we can have hearsay, you can produce whatever. Here's the thing, is, just based on the superficial facts, the officer was completely, within bounds of policy and so forth, to issue the citations and then to impound the vehicle, okay? So what I'm offering you the opportunity is to prove to me that the insurance was valid, even though the system had not been updated, the state system regarding the registration. So
Okay, but see,
I'm giving you an
I got
additional opportunity.
I get what you're saying, but does that validate anything further than like the fact that you said I have to have the card? And so when the female officer was like, if I could get the card there, they could stop the tow, which the card would have said effective 5/7, and there would have been no further, well, I don't know, unless he felt like calling and saying, hey, when's the policy start? But I'm trying to figure out how that makes a difference when the stop is either improper or proper. So, I mean,
Let me try to just
yeah, I get what you're
go
saying.
right in on it, which is, was this card, even though, there's 24 hours in the day of May 7th, was this card, could this card have been produced if they had waited? Because if what Lieutenant Coker found out is true, which is approximately 2 hours after the stop and the impoundment, this was issued, then the waiting was irrelevant, right? You could not have produced the card. The insurance was not in effect.
Oh,
That's what I'm giving you the opportunity
Okay.
to prove, is that the insurance was actually in effect.
but is there any reason to believe it wasn't, other than hearsay, if I'm presenting it to you as effective?
Yes, that is the reason.
And so that could be a bias
It's a
reason,
pretty,
right?
it's a pretty big coincidence when somebody
Got it.
gets a citation and they then appeal their impoundment, and then it's like, wow, that's a big coincidence. And so
Oh.
I want to dive
I hear
farther
you.
into that coincidence.
Why would it be coincidental, though?
Because don't you think it's a big coincidence that the very day you bought insurance is the same day that your vehicle was impounded for lack of insurance?
Being unable to produce the card. I asked you to show me in the
I want
in the
that,
law
and that's what I'm trying to
that I
get to,
have to-
right? Could you have produced the card at 11:56?
if you listen to the audio of the officers, right? The owner of the vehicle was very coherent and clear when he said, "Your mother has it on her computer."
Okay, well then it shouldn't be too hard to
then,
get.
so then the record would show on the body cam, if their body cameras were on, that he assured me that. So there would be no reason not to believe it couldn't have been produced.
Well, I
Sorry, I'm a
think
little
what I'd like to
dehydrated.
do is get a piece of evidence which seems very obtainable from your mother, that something would have been sent to her, right? And if she did it the night before, then she should have an email, right, from the insurance company, and that would be dated sometime either the late evening of May 6th or the morning of May 7th, and I'm asking you to produce that in the next week, and that will bear on my decision.
I don't want to prolong it. So I'm just going to let you have the insurance card, which is what he wanted at the stop. And so there was nothing more he wanted. So I'm not going to do that.
Okay, well then I'm not going to be able to, I don't think there's enough evidence to suggest that the insurance was valid as of 11:56 or whenever the traffic stop took place and the car was impounded. I don't think there's ample evidence to suggest that there was insurance
So if
in force.
So if I get pulled over tomorrow and I produce this, would that not be ample evidence? I mean, if I was to be in another vehicle and it's dated for that date that I get pulled over, that's not believable that it was purchased that day? Or is it because,
I think it matters when that day.
well, no, I mean, are you only questioning it because Officer Corey has alleged that he talked to the insurance policy?
I would
company.
be asking you for additional information anyway, because this is a very big coincidence. So I'd be wanting to go, I wonder what time that day. So that's why I'm saying, and I'm giving you the opportunity to have additional time to produce that piece of evidence. If you're unwilling to,
Right, because I think if that's something you want to know, he should be able to produce the tape or the records. If that's even legal for them to disclose my policy, I don't know. I need to find out.
I'll tell you, it's not illegal for him to ask. If they did something improper, that's on the.
Well, I mean, I don't have the
insurance
audio to know what he said, if he impersonated me or what. I don't know.
company. Okay.
I mean, you don't know either.
I don't, but I do know Lieutenant Coker. I've known Lieutenant Coker for 6 years.
So that's biased,
Okay.
right? That would be conflict of interest. You guys are friends, right?
We are professional colleagues. So are you going to, I'm going to.
I'm not going to produce nothing else. I mean,
Okay.
'cause this is all I have.
Okay. Well, then I'm going to repeat what I said before, which is I will be writing an order that says there's not sufficient evidence in the record to validate that there was insurance in force, and that would have negated the suspension of the registration, and I find that the impoundment was proper.
Without facts.
I'm sorry?
Even without facts?
The facts are in the record. We've talked about it. And
that facts should
I'm
be black
actually-
and white. I don't know. I don't know, because it seems like
It does matter what
Well-
time of day,
Yeah.
because both things happened on the same day. You got insurance,
that.
and your car was impounded for lack of insurance.
And I'm
So it
listening.
matters to me when that happened, and I'm giving you an
Right.
opportunity to establish.
Right.
and you're not going to take that
Well,
opportunity.
because the only reason I have disbelief is because I did not have the card, and I asked, could you show me the law that says I have to have the card? Then I would say, okay, that's reasonable suspicion that I didn't have an active policy. That's all I want to know, too. If I could see that in the law, I would say, okay, cool, you know, that's a reason to think I didn't have it. But if you just say, because he said it and you're the judge
Well, we're
of it,
gonna-
I can't sway you because I don't have any relationship with you like you have with him. So, I mean, you're going to believe him over me, and hearsay is admissible, so, I mean, I guess that's what it is. You make your decision how you do.
Well, like I said, I'm giving you the opportunity to
Well, I know.
supplement the record, and you're choosing not to do it. So
No, I'm just saying, that's not, I feel like that's kind of like asking me to take more time from my work and job and do stuff. Just
you don't
like,
even have to come back. You can just send it.
what's the time doing all that, you know?
Corey, are you looking for something that might be relevant? Thank you. That last bit didn't get picked up, Corey, but that's fine.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm looking up some Illinois vehicle code. It's large, so just bear with me.
What is proper or improper? Like, what are the contingencies on what makes it proper or improper? Like,
The impoundment?
Yeah. Sorry, my mouth's dry. I'm dehydrated. The heat. What makes it proper or improper?
Well,
I just
there's,
want to know, like, what defines that
right.
in your judgment?
I'm going to answer you.
Okay.
So I cited our code, which is section 23-277, which is vehicles used in the commission of certain offenses. And then it's, the first section A is violations authorizing impoundment. And then the subsection D, so officers are authorized to impound vehicles. This is a quote now.
Right.
Operation of vehicle when registration canceled, suspended, or revoked.
And I get all that. I think what confused me at the stop was the other officer saying it's at the discretion. So I guess as an authority, it's their discretion if they want to tow it or not. So I guess an improper tow could be only validated if we know why he didn't tow it or did. Because I know people that have gotten insurance ticket and they said they did not have insurance in this state and they were allowed to drive it home still.
I can't speak to
So,
that.
oh, I know, I'm just saying that in your departments, there is that convolution of officers doing that when they want to and not. And so it's just like, that day he felt like, you don't have your card, I'm gonna tow it. Because I even said, hey, my mother can bring the card right now. He said, it's too late, deal with it in court.
That-
I was persistent
Okay.
about that, so that would infer I had then belief that the policy was effective that date, which it says it is.
We're
So
gonna
I don't
give
know.
Officer Miller the chance. He seemed like he wanted, did you want to say something relevant to that?
Yes, it wasn't the fact that the insurance card wasn't provided. I cited you for operating uninsured motor vehicle, but the reason for the tow was for the suspension due to mandatory insurance. In our system, it states when we look up your vehicle while we do conduct the traffic stop, it states that your registration is suspended for mandatory insurance. That is the reason for the tow, not because the vehicle, it's due in part because the insurance, but
Right.
the ticket, we cite people with tickets for mandatory not having mandatory insurance too, and allow them to leave without their car being towed. This is due to the fact that your registration is suspended for insurance. So I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, and I get that, and I think, is it possible that the computers can have a lag or delay or a gap in communication with insurance and the DMV where it could possibly be active but not relayed to your department in that moment due to any computer malfunction or whatever, I don't know. System errors, are those not possible?
So
Just wondering.
Here's what I'm giving you the opportunity to establish is what I want to know is if there was in a perfect world where as soon as you get the insurance, the system picks it up, right? I want to know, was that a possible thing to have happened? And so what I'm asking you to do, if you choose to, is establish that you had insurance at the time, and then all the rest of the puts and takes that's my discretion, right? It's not saying that Officer Miller did anything wrong, but if you can't establish that you had insurance at the time, then that could have never happened, that the system would have picked that up because the insurance was issued later in the day. So that's why I care about the timing of it.
But that's subjective because you can't prove that. Because right here it says it was effective.
I don't have to prove anything because
know.
Officer Miller, and we're going to wrap this up real quick. Officer Miller said, he followed the protocol.
Yes, I get it.
And
Oh, wait.
that was,
Which you can't find that says I have to have the card, but the system said the plates were suspended, but there's no possibility of a computer error or anything. So, I mean,
I would say if you think that was an error, then you would have to produce some documentation to that effect.
well, if you were so confident in that, why would Officer Corey need to call the insurance company to revalidate something that you guys already knew? I mean,
I did.
it sounds like, well, hearsay. We allege that he did. I don't know if he did or didn't.
Trying to sort out, and again, we're going to wrap this up and see if Corey has found anything. There is a big coincidence in my mind.
I get it.
Right?
Yes.
And so it matters to me.
I get it.
It matters to me what time of day that insurance policy was issued. So
Right.
Lieutenant Coker did what he could to sort
And
that
I
out
get it.
for me.
I get it.
Okay?
But-
So Corey, what have you found?
From time to time, I get asked to do things just like your boss asked you to do stuff. Okay. So, but I did find in Illinois Vehicle Code Section 7-602, insurance card. Every operator of a motor vehicle subject to Section 7-601 of this code shall carry within the vehicle evidence of insurance. The evidence shall be legible if sufficient to demonstrate to the motor vehicle currently is covered by a liability insurance policy as required under Section 7-601 of this code and may include, but is not limited to, the following: an insurance card provided by the insurer, the combination of a proof of insurance purchase of the motor vehicle within the previous 60 days, and current insurance card issued for the motor vehicle replaced by such purpose. It goes on and on. I'll let you read my phone if you want to check it out.
Well, no, because the officer already, I'm sorry, I forgot your name.
Carol.
Carol already said, or the officer, that at their discretion, sometimes people don't have to have their card. So it's based off the plates. But nonetheless, you have a duty to serve the interest of Urbana. So if it would deprive them of capital for you to rule that officer to have done an improper stop, then it would, in fact, go against why you're hired. So, of course, the bias is going to be towards me to prove that it wasn't or have suspicion that it wasn't, even though I produced it right here. So, I mean, your judgment is going to be your judgment. And, I mean, I can't argue with it. So I'm not going to produce anything else.
Okay.
But that's my ending statement, closing statement. So, I mean.
All right. So you'll get a written order from me
Okay.
in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
All right?
That's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.